All right, shall we get going? Because some people can only stay a very short time, so we should get into it. This is our third session on appraisal, so some people have been here, some people haven't. So I'll do a really lightning whiz through and then get into continuing looking at student texts. So what we have been doing is there are some sort of staggered graded student texts here, starting pretty much at 0 plus, and I think we're up to level 2. So we'll continue with the 2s, and I think some of you are familiar with this stuff through your own study, and might have been at the sessions before, but I'll just do a quick recap so that we've warmed up and then we'll get into it. So appraisal is about the way language users express position, preference, taste, opposition to ideas, things around them. There are various resources. They've been categorised. I mean, it's ultimately part of functional grammar. It's developed actually mainly by Jim Martin and Peter White in Sydney as an outgrowth of functional grammar. And I went to a session earlier this year, a day workshop on it, and bringing back some of that information, some of those ideas. So I'll just run through it.
Thanks, John.
There we go.
Not going to be terribly
No,
long stay.
that's all right.
Sorry.
Just going to sign there, Linda. Okay, so the best quick summary is this sheet here. So emotion, it's actually out of order. I'll just jump over the page here. Sorry, attitude and emotion is part of the same. Underlined it wrongly. So, emotion, you say, I love something. Obviously, it's the most obvious way of expressing a position. I admire, interesting example, your curly underarm hair, fair enough. I hate, I deplore, whatever. Okay, it can also be nominalised, pain, anguish, fear, love. Or lovely, I guess. You can take various parts of speech. So we're looking for, when we have a look at the texts, have a look for elements in the writing that kind of more or less directly express emotion. We're also looking back on the first page, judgment. Judgment's focused, the key about judgment is it's focused on human behaviour. There's a little bit extra on judgment, but I don't think I've handed out, because now we're at sort of the third session where we can kind of get to the next level of detail. Just grab one of these. Because the taxonomy of these things gets quite complex but interesting. So judgment can break down, you can see the subcategories there, into, say, normality, and you've got some examples there. Positives and negatives. For example, negative normality, eccentric, odd things. So she had an odd manner of addressing people or something. There's an element of negative social esteem in terms of normality. Capacity, so you can see there kind of talent and skill, positives and negatives. Tenacity, interesting one. Resolve, kind of resilience, persistence, positives and negatives. So that category is social esteem. So whether you admire or criticise, you see under positive and negative, admiration or criticism. Social sanction, more kind of moral. Veracity, are people telling the truth or are they deceitful? Or propriety, ethics. So various ways of expressing that and the judgment. So we'll be looking, when we come to the text, when our writer's judging things and under what category. The whole point of this is not just to be able to classify, but what we'll find, I think, especially if we do the first one, we'll find that every writer has a distinct pattern, and this is the idea of this is to so that teachers, our use of it is, so that teachers can find out where writers are strong and where they're weak, and where they might need resources to build, because we need to be able to do all of that in any kind of sophisticated or even semi-sophisticated set of utterances about opinions and positions. And if there are gaps and inadequacies or strengths, we need to recognise and identify those. So that's the point of the taxonomy. It's not just sort of there for its own sake. The appreciation system, there's a little bit about appreciation, again, simpler on the front here. So, what do they say there? The example, yes, the underarm hanger again. All right, disgusting. So appreciation is about things or events. And again, if we look at that more detailed table, they're breaking it down into reactions. So did it engage me or not? Positives and negatives. Quality. Did you like it or not? Remember, that's about things, not behaviour. Composition. So, yeah, an interesting one there. Harmonious or balanced or unorganised or whatever. So they've got a balance and then a complexity. Is it simple or complex? And valuation. Was it worthwhile or not? Or was it a waste of time or insignificant? So I don't know if we want to go to the next level. We can see how we go. I think the first two sessions, it was just getting these broader concepts sort of in place, and I'm just introducing this in the third workshop so that if we find an opportunity where something jumps out at us, as I think it might in the next few texts, there's certainly material that is appreciation in terms of valuation, whether you're assessing something is worthwhile or not. That's a pretty important category that writers express. So once you've expressed something, you say it's disgusting, then graduation is whether it's really disgusting or slightly disgusting. So force is the next category. So graduation, force is your intensity of something. So is it slightly, very, extremely, those sort of words are some of your more obvious forms. Focus is more about category. I find it a bit of a tricky one. It's more or less. It's focus first. This is more associated with gradable words, so it's gradable. Whereas this is not. This is about categories that aren't gradable. For example, a friend. James is look at the examples. A true friend. So you kind of are or you aren't. You're either in the category or out of it. To what extent are you part of that category? Okay, you're a true friend. You're a real friend. You're a genuine friend. Those sort of things would be examples of focus. Because friend isn't a quality that's directly gradable. It's not like disgusting, where you can grade it. It's a category. Okay, engagement is about how, the key there is the term on the third page of the handout. To what extent does the writer affirm or distance themselves from what they're writing about? Or from what is written and spoken? So, it starts with disclaim. Now I'm going to jump over to proclaim. We go to the last page of the handout. I'm compelled to conclude. They're obviously embracing that idea very strongly. They feel they've got no other choice but to conclude this. So that's a strong embracing, if you like, of that position. Okay, so that's positive engagement. Disclaim is a negative. Or just other examples of proclamation. Perhaps have a look through. I argue, I believe. It's an overt statement that you have this position to reinforcement of the ownership of the position. So it's kind of about ownership of, you think of it like distance. How close do you get to the idea? How much do you back away? A disclaiming is obviously distancing. So if you go back and have a look at disclaiming, I told you we're going to move fast. Disclaim, I deny that men are apes, or it is alleged that men are apes. Even it is alleged doesn't necessarily mean you agree. It's the same. Some people say this. So there's a distancing effect there. This can't be true, so actual denials and so on would fall in here as well. Okay, even have a look at the last one here, these interesting effects. What is a free gift? Aren't all gifts free? So a rhetorical question can be a form where you distance yourself. Rhetorical question could be a form where you proclaim as well, it just depends what you're doing in the question. Okay, entertainment is very much about modality and hedging or boosting. So hedges and boosts. So this report suggests it's one of many possible. So entertainment is about that word. If you think of entertain in terms of this collocation, you entertain all options. That idea that you're entertaining the possibility of other positions. That's the key meaning or the sense of entertainment here. So if you say the report suggests, then you're recognising that there are other possible alternatives. Or you say might or can use modals. You know, you could, so modal verbs will do the same thing. Or it's possible that. You're recognising other possibilities. Or you can nominalise it. There is a possibility that. All of those are entertainment structures. And the last one is attribution. So fairly distanced in terms of engagement. You know, she said it. Chomsky stated it. They convincingly argued or showed it's about other people. It's about ownership, not your ownership, but kind of explicitly stating that others ownership by others. Yeah, so in any, I guess, you know, the higher up we look, you're looking at sort of level 3, level 4, ideally a writer would have a range of those things that they would draw on depending on what they're going to say, and you have I mean, every person's going to have their own particular signature by using some of these resources more than others, and even within one particular area, they're going to tend to favour certain words, certain phrases. We all do this. We all have our own little idiolect, particular way of speaking and writing. But as teachers, we're trying to, I guess, make all those resources available and the workings of all those resources kind of understood and explicit to people. So I guess the point of this kind of grammar is we need to obviously develop all the, you know, conditionals and tenses and blah, blah, blah. But this is a different approach in the sense that you can have all that in place but still not necessarily have a wide range of resources in each of these areas to really express what you want to mean. And that's the whole point about functional grammar, that it's about making sure learners have enough resources to really express, get across the functions of what they're trying to say and what they're trying to write. So with that in mind, if we look at the examples, I just can't quite remember. Can anyone recall? Did we?
I think we got up to 2.
We got up to 2, I think, didn't we? Did we actually look at 2, the birthday and the party example, ISLPR 2? Don't know if we did. We certainly looked at the company one and the receptionist, and remember the boring job?
Yeah.
We did that one, and I think we're up to the party. Does anyone remember the party?
That's the last one.
It's ISLPR 2.
Okay.
So that's maybe, even if we did it and no one can remember, it's probably worth doing it again, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, well, so we'll get our hands dirty. What you have to do, the idea is to look for what resources can this writer use. You know, where do we see demonstrations of the use of these, and where, I guess, do we see gaps? And so what are the strengths and weaknesses, and kind of try to tabulate it here. With a view to, once we've done that analysis, then looking at, okay, what might we actually have to teach? What are they strong in? What can we sort of acknowledge to them and give them some sense of confidence about, and what do we need to develop? Perhaps I'll read it quickly so we just tune in. Write about an event. I mean, it's good to look at the actual task because the tasks are different. This is a recount, so it's a recount genre. Write about an event or celebration you've recently attended in Adelaide, for example, birthday party, etc. On last 20th of May 2013, that was my birthday on that day. Now I'm 28 years old. On that day, I arranged a big party at my home. I invited my lots of friends and some family members. The party started at 7 p.m. In the beginning, I decorated my house with nice pink coloured balloon and ribbon. I made a very nice big photo which had my lots of photos from my childhood to right now. I bought a very big cake which had chocolate flavour. First I cut the cake, then after I arranged 2 different kinds of foods, Indian food and Western food. We all had dinner. Then after I put music and everyone did dance and enjoyed a lot to midnight. That was the very important day for me, and I was so happy because I got lots of gifts from my friends, because I love gifts. All right, well, yeah, over to you for some analysis, just in your little huddles. Let's go for 10 minutes and see what you discover. All right.
So big 12 is